Anyway, Time magazine also chose WNBA superstar Clark as their athlete of the year. But okay, here's the problem. A lot of conservatives are having a fit over her interview, and here's what they're so mad about. Watch.
Coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of.
The WNBA is buzzing with excitement thanks to Caitlin Clark's thrilling debut.
Let's say Caitlin Clark was like, yo, I don't want to play basketball anymore. I want to be an accountant. There are so many people that wouldn't have paid attention to basketball.
As the Indiana Fever's rising star, Caitlin Clark has shaken up the WNBA, proving she's a once-in-a-generation talent. Her incredible debut is not just exceeding expectations but also shaking up the league's traditional power structure.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team. So when it comes to wins, losses, when I tell you I break this game down piece by piece, because I don't want to be great for you guys. No offense. But I want to be great for my team.
Even Agar Wilson, the face of the WNBA and leader of the Las Vegas Aces, is now up against a new and powerful challenger.
I can't sit down in a game like this. This is an elimination game. I cannot sit down. That's looking like giving up. That looked like quitting to me. So I knew I had to come and be just who I needed to be for my team out the gate, and make sure that we understood what we needed to do here at home.
Wilson, who has ruled the league for years and led the Aces to back-to-back championships, can no longer stand alone in the spotlight.
When we're talking about Caitlin, we're talking about when she said dominate. When we're saying dominate, we're thinking what she does in college. Score the ball. She's dominated college, right?
No, she dominated in college.
She dominated. So when she says you won't come here and dominate off the rip. Averaging 17 is not dominated compared to averaging 30-something for 4 straight.
Clark's on-court magic, from her headline-grabbing three-pointers and no-look passes to her ability to energize entire arenas, has captured the attention of fans and the media alike.
So since we're talking about Caitlin Clark and everything that she has done in this game, we thought we'd do a little top of the top, her top historic.
It's probably going to take us to the end of the show
from her career. Yeah, we're just going to another one.
Yeah,
another one. We're starting with this. She hits a 3 at the buzzer to upset number 2 Indiana in this one.
She's done this multiple times. She's done it with a step back, with this drifting
maybe a double team.
Look at Rebecca Lobo.
Her games are breaking viewership records, her jersey sales are soaring, and her presence is making the WNBA impossible to ignore.
Why is she being bullied?
Why is that wrong?
Why is she being bullied for acknowledging something that's smart, truth, and factual?
Well, a couple things. Number one, whether you're an athlete or anyone else, if I hear you use the phrase "my truth," I immediately then discount everything else you say, because there isn't my truth or your truth. There's just the truth. And when you start using phrases like that, it tells me that
not true.
Your brain has been captured by something that I don't really respect.
That's not true.
Number 2.
That's not true.
Number 2. The attention the league got this year was amazing, and it was all because of her. She is an amazing player. The arenas were full when she played in them. The TV ratings were up when she was on television. That's undeniable. But the league still lost like $40 million this year. And it's never made money. And to me, when you're talking about respecting people who built something, what did they build? A league that loses.
Meanwhile, the Aces are now faced with the question of whether the Fever could shake up their dynasty.
He's a 6-foot guard from West Des Moines, Iowa, the reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year and the greatest of all time, number 22, Caitlin Clark.
I'm like, we might as well just sub you into the game.
At the center of it all is a growing rivalry between Wilson and Clark, setting the stage for a major shift in the league's future. One thing's for sure, this is only the start of a new chapter for the WNBA. Don't miss out on the action. Like this video and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest WNBA news and stories.
sides. This is WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Caitlin, it feels like just yesterday when I called your name to the stage as the #1 pick in this year's draft. You held the Indiana Fever jersey for the first time, and what a record-breaking season for you and the entire team, full of outstanding performances. And I know all of you, that hard work and dedication, and it's paid off with your...
Caitlin Clark's debut in the WNBA has been a game changer. From her very first match, her dynamic presence turned heads, catching the attention of not just fans, but also seasoned experts and even NBA players. For a league that's long fought for wider recognition, Clark's arrival feels like a turning point. Her team, the Indiana Fever, has gone from being under the radar to becoming a major talking point in the league. What makes Clark so exciting is her fearless, high-energy playing style. With deep three-pointers and bold moves that feel almost unreal, she keeps fans on the edge of their seats. Her shooting range, similar to NBA star Steph Curry, forces defenders to step up as soon as she crosses half court, something rare in basketball at any level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take care of my rookie no matter what. It could be a knee scrub, it could be anything. Like, we're going to take care of her no matter what, because she's one of us. She's our sister. It's someone that we're going to always depend on and count on. But at the same time, cameras be getting in your business. We don't want that. We don't need that. So we try to protect her peace, her mental, and just her emotion. We shouldn't be afraid to show emotion because we're like, oh my God, we're going to turn into a meme. We're like, cameras just don't give us privacy. And I get it. That's their job to get the shot. But I think for us, they just kind of cut on that we're going to protect her at all costs because you never know what the internet or what people may do. So my thing was making sure that she was just good and understood what we were there for.
Caitlin Clark's impact goes far beyond her impressive performance on the court. She's generating a buzz like never before, driving record-breaking viewership and skyrocketing jersey sales. Even players like A'ja Wilson, one of the league's top stars, haven't created this much excitement. Clark is more than just a talented player, she's a true phenomenon, shaking up the WNBA in ways we haven't seen before. For Wilson, this shift brings a new challenge. As a longtime face of the league, she's now dealing with the pressure of having her spotlight partly overshadowed by Clark's rapid rise. Where she was once the center of attention, now much of the focus is on her rookie rival. It's a tough spot for Wilson, as the growing sponsorships, media coverage, and airtime seem to be leaning more toward Clark.
Game of the season, and an enemy territory gets this kind of salute as she exits the game.
This shift puts Wilson in a tough spot, having to defend her position as the league's top talent while facing the excitement surrounding Clark. It's a rivalry that highlights how women's basketball is evolving, with Clark emerging as a game-changing force who is reshaping the sport. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA has completely transformed the league, both in terms of on-court action and off-court energy. She's sparking a new era filled with rivalries, excitement, and growing fan interest. Her influence goes far beyond her incredible performances. She's changing the narrative in a league that was once dominated by reigning MVP Agar Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces.
She got the extra details.
The golden doodle.
Oh!
That's golden. She's a golden.
The growing rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Agar Wilson is electrifying the WNBA and hinting at a potential shift in power. The Las Vegas Aces, long considered the league's top team, now face a legitimate threat from Clark and the up-and-coming Indiana Fever, a team making the leap from underdog to serious contender. With Clark's star rising, the stage is set for a battle that could shape the future of the league. The Aces have sat at the top with confidence, built over years of dominance. But Clark's presence is shaking things up. Her unique skills, especially her ability to hit deep three-pointers from as far as 30 feet, are exposing the limits of the Aces' defense, which has traditionally focused on controlling the paint through Wilson's dominance. Suddenly, the Aces look unprepared to deal with the faster, more dynamic style of play that Clark brings. If Clark's shots are falling and her teammates rise to the occasion, the Fever could take advantage of even the strongest defenses. The Aces, used to controlling the game, may find themselves scrambling to adjust in a league that's rapidly evolving.
So Atlanta would normally have 3,000, 4,000 people. Now they have 17,000 people, and they sold 1,000 standing room only tickets. So when we walked into the arena, people were on that third balcony looking down at the tops of our players' heads to watch. I mean, it's really hard to take in. After a few away games and all of the sellouts, Caitlin asked the WNBA if they would pay spot bonuses to the away team players.
Caitlin Clark's impact goes beyond just tactics. She sparked a cultural and media revolution in the WNBA. Before Clark arrived, Agar Wilson was the face of the league, celebrated as both a champion and an MVP. But now, the spotlight is on Clark. Her magnetic presence has drawn massive crowds, with her jersey sales surpassing those of established stars, and she's become a major topic in national sports discussions. The media frenzy around Clark has brought major attention to the Indiana Fever. Primetime broadcasts, sold-out games, and growing fan excitement have turned the Fever into a major attraction. Meanwhile, despite the Aces' continued success, Wilson and her team now find themselves overshadowed by Clark's rapid rise. The narrative of the WNBA is shifting, with Clark stepping into the role of the league's new face. This change has left some veteran players wondering where they fit in this evolving landscape. As the clash between eras intensifies, the battle for supremacy is set to reshape the future of the WNBA, making each game an unmissable part of an unfolding story.
And the fact that she lets me be me, I try to let her be authentically her. And that's when I get the best out of each other, and she gets the best out of her teammates.
The Indiana Fever have long been at the bottom of the WNBA standings, but rookie sensation Caitlin Clark has completely flipped the script for the franchise. She's more than just a star, she's a game changer, bringing confidence and inspiring her teammates. This new energy is already paying off on the court. Once an underdog, the Fever are now a team no one wants to face. This transformation has even shaken up the defending champions, the Las Vegas Aces, who are facing a challenge they haven't encountered before. Historically, the Aces have excelled under pressure, treating every game like a must-win. But playing against Clark and the rising Fever is a different experience. A win for Indiana, or even just pushing the Aces to the limit, would send shockwaves through the league, shifting how people view the Aces' once unshakable dominance.
No, I mean, basketball's competitive. I get it. You know, sometimes your emotions get the best of you. Happened to me multiple times throughout the course of my career. People are competitive. It is what it is. You know, and she's having a tremendous season. She's played great basketball in my eyes, probably in first place for 6th player of the year. She's been great off the bench for them. I think she had 25 here last night and really helped them win the game. So no, and that's just not where my focus is. You know, that's not what I think about on a day-to-day basis. I think about my team. I think about ways that I can get better. You know, and you know, it's just basketball at the end of the day. You know, there's no grudges. There's nothing like that. It's a sport. It's competitive.
The Aces' vulnerability isn't just about Caitlin Clark's individual brilliance, though that's a big part of it. It's also about the momentum she's brought to the Fever and the broader implications for the WNBA. If Indiana keeps improving, they could go from being a feel-good story to a true contender, challenging the Aces' hold over the league. For Las Vegas, the challenge isn't only about staying at the top of their game, it's about handling the mental and physical pressure that comes with defending their crown.
Just another night at the office, like we take it for granted, but we're watching one of the greatest players of all time in front of our eyes, and it's like, dang, like, I think that's like 28 is like, oh yes, A'ja had 28, like that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like I'm serious. So I just wish that, like, you know, moving forward, that we're like, it's a unanimous vote this year. You feel me? Or, no, I understand, but there's a difference between MVP and unanimous. Just saying. Okay.
Thank you, Coach. Caitlin Clark's arrival has forced powerhouse teams like the Aces to face a whole new challenge. Normally, Las Vegas dominates with its strong interior defense, anchored by Agar Wilson in the paint. But Clark's unique mix of long-range shooting and court vision neutralizes their strengths. Unlike most players, she can score comfortably from well beyond the three-point line, stretching defenses to limits they haven't faced before. This forces the Aces' big players to step away from the paint, creating weaknesses in their usually tough defense. If they overcommit to guarding her deep shots, it opens up more chances for Clark's teammates. Her elite playmaking, marked by sharp court vision and precise passing, keeps defenders guessing. By the time they adjust, Clark has already set up a cutting teammate or driven to the basket herself.
I'm glad you mentioned that tempo. They struggle. They don't play as well, but here is a huge steal, which again, they play so well in transition.
For the Aces, trying to counter a player like Caitlin Clark requires big adjustments, but those changes come with risks. Disrupting a defense that has been rock solid can leave other areas vulnerable. That's what makes Clark so dangerous, not just her ability to outplay teams, but her knack for forcing tough decisions that can destabilize even the most well-established units. In a league where the margin for error is incredibly small, such disruption could shift the entire balance of competition.
Let's go to that question which raises some sensitivities of rivalries between players. In the case of Angel Reese, who's just had to shut it down because of a wrist injury, Caitlin Clark, who's continuing to play. Rivalry that goes back to their college days. days, presumably, where I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation, where sexuality is sometimes introduced into the conversation. How do you...
Caitlin Clark's rapid rise hasn't just challenged opponents on the court, it's also created some tension among the WNBA's veterans. Legendary players like Breanna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Cheryl Swoops have quietly expressed frustrations over the growing spotlight on the rookie. Their concerns come from a deep respect for the years they've spent building the league's reputation. For some, the heavy focus on Clark can feel like a disregard for their own contributions to the WNBA's growth.
Sochne, let's just preview this matchup a little bit. This is going to be an awesome game.
I told you so. The WNBA is no joke. And last time out, it was the rookie vet matchup of Caitlin Clark versus Diana Taurasi, the all-time leading scorer in the WNBA. Now it's this, Caitlin Clark versus A'ja Wilson, the leading scorer this year.
Ayo.
So far, what is Caitlin bringing to the table? Well, clearly it's her signature three. Get this. Steph Curry led the NBA in made threes last year again. Caitlin actually shoots further than Steph Curry. Look at the numbers right here. 27.1 feet. 26.8.
While none of these veterans deny Caitlin Clark's talent, there's a sense of skepticism underneath. Some believe she hasn't quite earned the level of attention she's receiving. This has led to more physical play against her on the court. Opponents set tougher screens, challenge her more intensely, and push her to prove she can handle it. Even the Las Vegas Aces, who respect all opponents, have made no exceptions when it comes to testing Clark. But here's the thing, Clark thrives under this pressure. Instead of being intimidated by the physicality, she uses it to fuel her performance. Her ability to rise to the challenge and use it to elevate her game is what sets her apart. This resilience is why she's already seen as a legitimate threat, not just a promising rookie. Caitlin Clark's rise isn't just about her individual talent, it represents a bigger shift in the WNBA. Her presence is a wake-up call to veterans and dominant teams like the Aces, shaking up the league's hierarchy. More importantly, her confidence and dynamic style of play have revitalized the Fever and captivated fans, bringing an exciting new energy to the league. For the Aces, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their dominance has gone largely unchallenged, but Clark and the Fever represent a new wave of competition, a genuine threat to their dynasty. Whether Indiana takes the next step this season or not, one thing is clear, Caitlin Clark has already made her mark, forcing the WNBA's elite to rethink how they play, adjust, and defend their spot at the top. Clark's meteoric rise is shaking the WNBA to its core. For years, A'ja Wilson, with her dominant play and leadership, seemed destined to be the face of the league. But Clark's explosive talent, combined with her growing fanbase and social media buzz, is changing the landscape fast. The WNBA now faces the challenge of balancing respect for established stars like Wilson and the reigning champion Aces while embracing the fresh energy Clark brings. Clark's rise isn't just individual success, it signals a potential shift in the league's narrative. While the Aces remain dominant on the court, their legacy now feels threatened by Clark's rapid ascent. If her momentum keeps building, the Caitlin Clark era might arrive sooner than expected, forcing teams like the Aces to adapt, not just to keep their dominance but also to stay culturally relevant. The stage is set for an exciting new chapter in the WNBA. If you're as eager as we are to see how it unfolds, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates, analysis, and in-depth coverage of the WNBA and beyond.